This is how your frontier opening bells getting today started, the third trading day of the week. Welcome everyone to the show. I am Bosin Amafaye. The markets across Africa, five major exchanges we covered for you on a daily basis. Four in the positive region in Egypt, in Nairobi, in Johannesburg, and in Abidjan. The Nigerian market bucked that by 20 basis points. There was a big sell-off yesterday on the shares of some of the biggest banks in Nigeria, including Axis Bank and UBA, the shares of Nestle, the consumer giant, fell, dragging the index. So that puts that behind us as we look forward to what Wednesday brings as we move on. So let's get the top stories within the various regions across to you. As always, with East Africa, where Equity Bank is reporting a very robust earnings for last year. 40.7 billion shillings in total profit because of lower loan losses reported the year immediately after the pandemic. But despite the impact of the 2020 on 2021, Equity Bank Group says its numbers were a whole lot better. And Kisumu County in Kenya says it's developing bilateral economic ties with Morocco. Handshake across the Sahel, if you ask me. That's a nice one. Well, all the horticulture exporters in Kenya says they're looking for new markets, trying to expand their export business of horticulture. Horticulture is one of the largest export and FX earnings for Kenya, and they're looking at 9 new countries. In the meantime, the Bank of Uganda says banks have borrowed about 330 billion shillings to meet their financing needs. That was a bit of a backward-looking economic market data from the monetary policy authorities, while the Africa Barrick Gold has lost its tax battle of about 50 billion shillings against the Tanzanian tax authorities. Come with me to West Africa, where Providus Bank is applying to the SEC to change its status from being a public liability company to a limited liability company because about 1.24 billion ordinary shares of the bank is now being transferred to Clearvox Investment, which is a new investor, and they are paying cash of 1 naira per every share to minority shareholders. The shares of Providus Bank PLC were delisted yesterday from NESD over-the-counter market and taken out of the NESD Securities NSI Index. That's the news. In the meantime, the meeting, that crucial meeting, 1-week meeting, started yesterday in Brussels between the European Commission officials as well as African gas producers. Is a whole lot of expanded meeting as Europe begins to look for alternative energy sources on the back of the Russian invasion of Ukraine now entering its first month. The President of the United States, US Joe Biden, will be in Brussels, is expected in Brussels tomorrow to meet with European leaders on the way forward as well as meet with NATO officials. So we'll get an outlook onto that throughout the rest of the week. FMDQ, the Securities Exchange headquartered in Lagos, has admitted the listing of about 30 billion naira Series 1 commercial paper from First City Monument Bank. That's the commercial banking arm of FCMB Holdings, which is listed on the NGX. And more interest rate hike is to be expected from the Central Bank of Ghana, that's the BOG, and that's according to Goldman Sachs and ABSA Group, if the cedi, the country's currency, continue to weaken further. And Togo, as reported, the about 30 billion CFA franc being in fifth bond issuance within the UEMOA market, that's the French-speaking West African financial market space. All right, let's touch base with Southern Africa, where everyone is anticipating how the South Africa Reserve Bank will decide tomorrow on interest rate. It's also going to be critical because from today, the AFDB president, Dr. Akumi Additional, and the rest of his team are already in South Africa to meet with President Cyril Ramaphosa and a few other events on his calendar. There's going to be a very most watched meeting. The South African Reserve Bank has decided to list African Bank on the GSE, well, after it found no buyers for its key equity stake in that commercial bank. And Tungela Resources reporting full-year profit jumped to about 6.9 billion rand, coming from 2020, 362 million rand loss. And Kibo Energies is buying 100 megawatts solar project in Zimbabwe for about 10 million British pounds. And Deb Marine in Namibia has secured a new vessel for about 7 billion Namibian dollars. All right, let's finish up in North Africa, as always, where Egypt Is in decision to raise interest rates has been positive for the market for two sessions. In the meantime, next door, Morocco, the central bank decided to hold key rates because inflation is seen at 4.7%. Egypt's real growth to hit about 5.5% in full year 2022-2023. That's the fiscal year for Egypt. Why? That's according to the Minister of Finance, by the way. And Abu Dhabi's ADQ is looking to buy $2 billion worth of state assets in Egypt. Massa Italia is issued a securitized bonds worth about 800 million Egyptian pounds, and that was in the Q4 of last year for the period ended December. And Morgan Stanley says Tunisia is likely to default on its debt. The IMF staff monitoring team is expected in the next couple of days to be in Tunisia to meet with the officials of President Said administration to discuss further financing support that the North African economy sorely needs. If that happens, well, that could be a silver lining for Tunisia to avoid default on its debt. And that's about it. It's Wednesday. You've been briefed. This is your trading day. I am Bosin Amafaye, and I'll see you next time. Watch this show again, as well as other shows we have in our portfolio on YouTube, Front Africa Report. That's also our website address, frontafricareports.com. We're also available to share your thoughts and our stories on social media, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.